Hi, my name is Chocoblove and I make art videos. My voice is finally back and now I'm able to film tutorials once again for you guys. As you can already tell, today we are learning how to draw chibi hairs. Specifically, these two types of hairs. In this video, we are going to learn number 1, how to approach the strokes for drawing hairs. Number 2, how to draw 3 different kinds of hairs, mainly straight, wavy and curly type of hair. And then we're going to apply those into 2 different types of hairstyles. Quick reminder to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and let's begin. While drawing hair, here is the few things you need to keep in mind. First of all, do not approach it using strand by strand. Don't use the single strand method because it looks very messy and not very attractive or maybe artificial. Instead, draw them or approach the hair as being in chunks. Hairs stick together to form a strand or a thick strand that is visible to the normal eyes. Hair starts thin at the top, gets really thick in the middle and kind of disoriented or spread it out at the end of it. So this is the type of hair strand that looks very natural and yet very attractive. I'm giving you another example of the same thing that I just mentioned. If your character have bangs, this is how you can draw the front section of her hair on top of her forehead. So here is kind of the overview what I just mentioned here. The next thing we are going to learn is how to approach 3 different types of hair. We have straight, wavy and curly hair. Drawing straight hair is pretty much self-explanatory. You draw 2 confident straight lines which usually comes with practice, and they are kind of slightly separated at the end, so make sure you do that. I am giving you 2 different examples of a long strand and a comparingly shorter strand for straight hair. For wavy hair, we are going to start with something like alphabet S, and we will just repeat it twice and curl it at the end. Unlike the straight hair, they does not disorient at the end. Instead, they get really curled up in the bottom. Next up, we have the really interesting and very versatile hair type, which is the curly hair. Drawing curly hair is a lot of fun, but in this case the S shapes are going to be more tightly packed than the wavy hair. Let's join the ends so it looks like more of a ribbon. And don't forget to curl the ends as beautifully as you can. Just as a tiny part of details, I like to add tiny lines here and there so it looks like hair strand or not very limp, if that makes sense. Next up, I'm adding a little bit of color to add some values to this photo. For the straight hair, I have chosen this very warm brown color, and I will add the shadows and lights later to it. So after getting that brown done, let's go ahead and color the wavy hair. I thought a blonde wavy strand would be really perfect examples. No, don't get me wrong, other colors are also very beautiful, but this is just I wanted to do it for now. And for the curly hair, I chose this nearly black color and just added a little bit of shades and lights to it. And here it is. This is how I like to draw my hair. Let's start with a bald chibi character. I'm really sorry to do this to her, but this is very important. First step is to get a hairline. If your chibi character have bangs, this is an optional step. You can just keep it. But for me, I really like to start off with that. Because this really helps as a guide. Next thing you want to do is you can draw small dots around the head. By joining them, you can actually make the outline of the hair. Here is the reminder, hair actually sits on top of the scalp and makes really a cushion type of thing. So they're actually not sticking to the scalp, there's a little bit of lifting up there. Finally, we are getting into drawing the actual hair. Remember all those S type of swoopy lines that we learned how to draw just a few minutes ago? We are going to apply them. I often like to use wavy and curly hair textures on my chibis just to make things a little bit of interesting. But if you prefer straight hair, please go ahead and do that. There is no right and wrong ways. You can either have their hair down or up, whatever your preference is. I'm just using those confident long strokes. Don't worry about it if you don't or you cannot do the confident strokes just yet. You can do this, and I'm pretty sure about that. After a little bit of adjustments here and there, my hair for the first chibi is done. So I'm going to do the line art. Let me just skip the line art process because it's kind of tedious and it's boring. So we will quickly jump into the coloring directly. We are going to start off by block coloring the hair. I'm giving her a beautiful teal shade because why not? So it goes really well with her green eyes. So yeah. Moving on to the shading portion, I'm using a airbrush tool, and the color that I've selected is 1 to 2 shades darker than actual teal shade of the hair. This really gives the nice gradient and also a shade of light just in a circular motion across her head. This is where we're going to add the highlights. All my favorite brushes and what brushes do I use most recently, I have already uploaded a video. So in case you are wondering that, you can go ahead and check out after watching this video, of course. For using the pen fade, I'm using a little bit of darker colors to draw a little bit of darkness here and there. It will give our hair some dimensions and some interest. The same process is going to be repeated in case of drawing a bun hair that you probably saw in the thumbnail. So stay tuned for that. You will learn the techniques from this chibi and we will apply it on another hairstyle. How do you determine where the lights and where shadows gonna be? Some people say it comes with experience, which is partially true, but I think we have a little bit of rules and theories. So if you learn them, it would be really easy for you to determine where the shadows and lights are gonna be. So if you want me to make a video about it, please let me know. I will happy to do so. A little bit of color gradient and we're moving on to our next chibi. We are again starting off with a bald head girl. I'm so sorry for that again. And we will do the bun type of hairstyle on her head. Let's draw bangs on her head. You can start off by drawing some dots. These are going to act as your guideline in order to where you can do the bangs and all. This is the direction of the bangs. This is how the swoops are going to fall on. So let's draw it. If you remember my words from my previous chibis, I said the hair forms a cushion-like thing on top of scalp. So once I did that and I also made the bun on top of her head, we're going to repeat the same coloring process. Every explanation that I did on case of the previous chibi is going to be the same. So I hope you remember all the advices and the tips that I given there and you apply on literally any and every hairstyle.